Hi everyone! If you're new here, I'm Allen with Earthglow, and this channel is all about sharing the joy of candle making. Today's video is another episode of our Fragrance Favorites series, where I talk about different categories of fragrances and highlight some that are my favorites from each category, as well as honorable mentions and the fail. So today's video is going over my favorite clean fragrances. And this was one that I had so many fragrances to sort through. Anyways, if this is something that you're interested in, then I hope that you're subscribed and I hope that you keep on watching. I must always preface these videos by saying that these are my opinions and fragrance is highly subjective, so there is always the chance that you might not like some of the fragrances that I do like, or some of the fragrances that you like, I might not like. But this series is meant to kind of narrow things down a little bit since there is a lot of selection, and the fragrances that are mentioned in these videos are ones that I have tested extensively and or sell in my own candle line. In our number 5 spot today, we have Sea Minerals. And this fragrance is by Candle Science. Now, to me personally, this oil really smells like the earth and the sea. It's a very clean fragrance. It's a very complex clean fragrance, and you definitely get the mineral qualities to it. I use this one in my Stormwatch candle, and I do blend this one with lavender driftwood. And to me, it just smells like the sea and the earth that's like churning up before a storm in the summertime. And it's just such a special fragrance to me. But this does only rank number 5 on my top 5 because I do use this one as a blender. And as a general rule, I decided that this fragrance series would highlight fragrances that I would say are really good standalones. And this one, I wouldn't necessarily use it personally as a standalone. I think you certainly could. I think it has a decent hot throw in natural waxes such as 464. But yeah, this takes my number 5 spot for the best clean fragrance. In my number 4 spot, we have Flannel. And Flannel, the one that I use is by the Flaming Candle. And this fragrance definitely is at home in the fall and winter, but I chose this one as my number 4 because I think that you could have this in a year-round collection. This whole series is dedicated to fragrances that I think could work year-round, and let me know if you want a holiday version of the Fragrance Favorite series, and I would be happy to film that as well. But this Flannel I think is really versatile, and it's one of those fragrances, if you've ever smelled Flannel by Bath & Body Works, this one is definitely along those lines. It's a very close dupe. I'm not even sure if it's an exact dupe for their Flannel, but in my opinion, it smells almost identical to Bath & Body Works Flannel. And yeah, this one is just so clean and so luxe smelling, and just, it's complex. Really smells like a textile to me. It smells like the material. It smells like flannel, and it just makes me so happy selling this one exactly as Flannel. I think the name fits it perfectly. I think that if you tried to brand it as something else, that could work too. I was thinking of placing this one in my French collection as nuages, which means clouds. And I think that it would work well like that too. But just calling this one Flannel, I think works perfectly. And this is an excellent thrower I found in 464 Soy, which is how most of the fragrances in this series have been tested. But yeah, this is one that I bring out in my fall and winter collections. But as I said before, I think you definitely could have this in a year-round collection. In my number 2 spot, we have Fresh Linen Odor Eliminator. Is that not a funny name or what? Like, they could have chosen something else to call this, right? It definitely is a fresh linen odor eliminator. Yes, I think that this is so much more than just something to take away bad odors. Don't get me wrong, I have had a lot of customers who have pets and have had trouble just getting scents in their home that they don't want in their home. out, and they have complimented me on this candle. I do sell it as my By Felicia candle. That particular fragrance is really good for getting out those scents that they don't like in their home. But yeah, this is just probably one of the most absolutely beautiful clean scents I have ever smelled. And it's definitely along the lines of Yankee Candle's Clean Cotton, but it's more than a clean cotton. You get almost like geraniums in this one too, but it's not a floral. It's just that it's more complex than simply like a cotton odor eliminator. And there's also a rich base profile to this one, I would say too. I wouldn't consider it luxe by any means, but I would consider it a fresh, clean, crisp, like spring cleaning type of a scent. And yeah, this one takes my number 2 spot. In my number 1 spot for my favorite fresh/clean fragrance of all time, have Eternel, which means eternal, I believe, in French, by 1617. And this fragrance, according to 1617, is a blend of magnolia blossom, frangipani, jasmine, tobacco, and vanilla. Now, I pick up much more on the middle and top notes to this one, and I do sell this as a blend in my Wanderlust collection with Persephone. It's a 50-50 blend of Persephone and Eternel. And I sell it as my Rio de Janeiro candle. And yeah, it's one of my absolute most popular Wanderlust candles. It is so luxe and so complex, sophisticated. It's just absolutely eternally gorgeous. And I hate to sound cliche like that, but I think that they named this one perfectly by calling it Eternel. It's like a dance of life, and it's so modern. This oil has got to be one of the most beautiful fragrances I have ever smelled, and it is one of the strongest fragrances that I have had in any of my candles. This blend, again, it's a 50-50 that I use of Persephone and Eternel, but I definitely think that this one is a standalone 100%. Yeah, so this takes my number 1 spot for my favorite clean/fresh fragrance of all time. And for the honorable mentions today, I did have to put this Cocoa Butter Cashmere by the Flaming Candle in here. And yes, this one definitely is at home in the fall and winter. This is my cashmere sweater candle, and this is the one that I also, I believe, had featured in another fragrance video. And I can't remember which video it was, but I'll try to link it above. But yeah, this Cocoa Butter Cashmere is such a classic. You will have customers continually coming back. Like, if this is your only fresh scent that you have in your candle line, I can 99% guarantee you're going to have customers continually coming back for this fragrance. And the one by Brambleberry, in my opinion, is even better. They're Cocoa Butter Cashmere, but it is kind of pricier. So I do include the Flaming Candle just because that's the one that I have right now in my inventory, and it's so similar, and it's definitely a better price point for this one. But yeah, you get the cocoa butter, you get the classic cashmere accord, you get the white woods. It has some like floral echoes in the background too. And yeah, this one is just such a refined, complex fragrance that I would consider almost leaning on high end smelling, especially the one from Brambleberry. But anyways, that is my first honorable mention, and I only place this one as an honorable mention because it, to me, much more so than the Flannel, has a place in the fall and winter, whereas Flannel, I think that you can make more versatile as a year-round fragrance. It's more of a textile that you can wear year-round or something than the Cocoa Butter Cashmere is, in my opinion, just based on the fragrance notes of it. My next honorable mention goes to Black Linen and Amber by Nature's Garden. And this fragrance is a upscale, really luxe leaning. I would consider this a luxury, high-end smelling fragrance, and you definitely get more of the ambers to this one. It's just a really smooth, almost like European clean cotton. I considered this like the luxe version of Yankee Candle's clean cotton in one of my other videos. And the only reason that I just ranked this one as an honorable mention is because I do not have extensive practice testing and making candles with this fragrance. It is a relatively newer one to me, but I will say I've made a lot of reed diffusers with it, and reed diffusers definitely have had a very nice scent throw with this fragrance, and I do use the Nature's Garden Reed Diffuser base for those. I think that this fragrance is a strong honorable mention, and I think the more that I work with this one, I'll probably end up ranking it higher. And my last honorable mentions are sort of a three-way tie between Ocean Breeze by Candle Science, Cotton and Iris by Candle Science, Ocean Rose by Candle Science, and also Beach Linen by Candle Science, except that fragrance I think is downstairs somewhere and I couldn't find it. But yeah, I think that all four of those are just really good kind of generic clean fragrances, and I have used them all in my candle line. The Ocean Rose I did last year as a limited edition in my candle line in my summer collection. It did do pretty good. It didn't really stand out to me necessarily as anything special. Same case with this Ocean Breeze. It was a fragrance that I blended in my Pacific Coast Highway candle, and yeah, like it's really nice. And this Cotton and Iris is one that I was thinking of making into my Athens candle for the Wanderlust collection. I think that this one leans a little more high-end smelling, especially with the iris to it. And the only reason that this one just gets an honorable mention for me is because I have not actually tested this one extensively, and it is a newer fragrance to me. And for the fails, I actually don't have anything to share in tangible form today, because the fail, which is a huge fail, like a huge fail, I couldn't even find. And you all know, if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, what that fragrance is. It is Ozonic by Stone Candles. And I'm actually so glad that I couldn't even find this fragrance, because I just don't even want to smell it. It's a fragrance that if I smell it, I'm gonna be smelling it for like 3 days. I cannot get the smell out of my head. It is literally like a toilet bowl cleaner. Not like the High Tide by Candle Science. It's like literally something that you would put directly in your toilet. And to me, I never need to smell that again in my life. But that is all for today's video. If you have tried any of these fragrances, definitely leave a comment down below which ones you like personally, and if there are any clean or fresh fragrances that you think I need to check out or that you're curious of my opinion on, definitely leave that in the comments down below too. But thank you so much for watching, and if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And I hope that all of you have an absolutely beautiful week. I'm sending everyone peace, love, and light, and happy candle making.